MacShane, who's a former UK Labour Party MP and Minister for Europe. He joins us now from London. Welcome back to the program, Denis. Rishi Sunak ordered his ethics advisor to look into Nadhim Zahawi just last week when he himself appeared blindsided by the fact that Zahawi settled this tax case. Has what's transpired been the correct course of action? The fact that Zahawi has now been stood down?
Very simply, the press reported back in July that Mr. Zahawi, who's a Kurd, of course, from Iraq, was being investigated for criminal problems with his tax declarations by the National Crime Agency, a Serious Fraud Office. And none of the prime ministers, it was Boris Johnson at the time, and that, if you remember, was followed by Liz Truss, kept reappointing him, didn't ask him any questions. Mr. Zahawi issued legal writs against journalists simply reporting the truth. It finally landed on poor Rishi Sunak's desk, and last week he refused to act again till finally the mounting evidence just grew and grew and grew. And then suddenly at midnight last night, some officials sent him a report saying, yeah, look, this guy's just breaking all the rules. He shouldn't be a minister. And in the middle of the night, Rishi Sunak sent him his dismissal letter. I mean, it's just unprecedented in the history of British cabinet and democratic politics for, 200 years.
Now, Rishi Sunak, as we know, took office as UK leader back in October, promising integrity, professionalism and accountability. These are qualities that were perceived to be lacking under Boris Johnson's rule, particularly over the so-called Partygate scandal. Do you think Sunak is attempting to deliver on those promises by acting on Zahawi?
Well, finally, yes, but so little, so late. Endless former chairman of the Conservative Party who said, for heaven's sake, Rishi, get rid of him. And he refused to act. In essence, I mean, Rishi Sunak's a clever guy, a very successful banker, hedge fund manager, Goldman Sachs graduate, but he's got so little political experience. I think this is the problem. You just had a report from Jerusalem on Benjamin Netanyahu, who is a complete political animal, and Rishi Sunak isn't. And I just think this inexperience is showing up. The Conservative Party are very rattled, very uneasy. I don't want to list all the problems that they face, but this is just the latest example now with our fourth Prime Minister since Brexit, and none of them have ever got control of government.
Now, do you think Rishi Sunak faces the threat of perhaps political retribution over what he has done, if not from Nadhim Zahawi himself, but perhaps from some of his allies?
I don't think so. He hasn't got any particular allies. I mean, he's a very amiable guy. He's like a Turkish used car salesman. That's always been his stock in trade in British politics. Successful business guy, but always selling, wheeling, dealing, a bit of property here, a bit of investment there, not paying his taxes when he should somewhere else. And you just, you can't really have that at the top of a government that once had a reputation for pretty severe integrity amongst its senior ministers. Now, there are other problems that Mr. Sunak faces. The fact that Boris Johnson was talking to the chairman of the BBC about his financial affairs after Mr. Johnson had appointed this chap, a man called Richard Sharp, chairman of the BBC, the most powerful media job in the country. And now the people are looking into that. I mean, what on earth is the Prime Minister doing, turning to a man he's made BBC boss to get help on raising £800,000? But God, nobody knows quite why Johnson needs all this money. All the time you've got this sense of just decay, the end of a regime. I'm not saying they're bad people. Politics demands a new start, an end, a clean up, a fresh brew. And I think that's the direction of travel we're in. And I'm not sure Rishi Sunak is going to be able to stop this general trend that says time's up after 13 years for the Conservative Party in power.
Okay, Denis MacShane, we'll have to leave it there. But thanks very much for sharing your analysis with us on TRT World.